Ryan McCaffrey from IGN here with Gearbox President Randy Pitchford. How's it going, Randy?
Pretty awesome.
We are here to check out Borderlands 2, and you're going to take us on a little tour of the skill trees.
Yeah. Hey, this is interesting. Whose save game is this?
This is our reviewer, Anthony Gallegos.
Let's sell all his gear. What do you think? No, let's not do that.
He might not appreciate that.
Let's not do that. So what I've done is I've just sort of fast-traveled to Sanctuary, which is one of our hub towns, and I figured we could check out some skill builds. We'll look at this character first since this is the one he was playing.
Let's do it.
Look at the skin he's got and the custom head.
Guy looks pretty cool.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, there's customization in Borderlands 2. Let's see what kind of gear he's beaten the game with this particular save.
This is he has completed it once.
Okay, so he's
far.
done his first playthrough. He's level 34, about halfway through. So all right, let's see. All right, so let's look at the skills. So Axton is our commando, and
yes.
The commando is a soldier type, and he can create a saber turret, which is this kind of deployable machine that he can build in front of him that will construct itself and do damage. And there's some other kind of abilities we can build on it. So let's take a tour of a skill tree.
Yeah.
First of all, if I look at the overview here, we can see that there's 3 different trees: guerrilla, gunpowder, and survival.
Looks like Anthony likes the gunpowder tree.
Yeah, he does. He's built down that a lot, and he's put a few points in survival there. Increases health a bit. Obviously, survival is what you'd expect. It's about mitigation. This is good for if you want to be a tank, if you're playing co-op, or if you just want to improve your survivability. There's certain boss fights and certain challenges in the game where a survivability build is really cool. And although he's committed down to this gunpowder tree, I will show you that using this type of device right here, you can also reconfigure your skill points. I'm not going to respec just yet, but if I wanted to respec, I can reset the skill points for a small fee. He's got over 117 grand. This only costs us about almost 5 grand to do it. It's enough. We balance the algorithm that sets price based on how much skill point progression you have, and we wanted the price to be meaningful enough where you're not just resetting every moment, but cheap enough where you're not regretting it. You're able to do it when you need to.
Yeah.
All right. So let's look at what he's already got built first, and then we'll dig deep on one of these skill trees. So the saber turret is activated by using your left mouse button or your right mouse button or your left shoulder button on a joystick. In this case, I'm playing the 360 version of the game, so I use my left shoulder button. And the saber turret will just manifest itself, digistruct in front of you. He'll throw out a little tool. It's like almost a grenade-like object that'll assemble it. In fact, I can demonstrate it right here.
That'll go over well in town.
Oh, he's got the nuke. And that's Anthony V2's saber turret. And I'm going to reclaim it and you can see it digistruct out. So that's the basic skill upon which all things are built. Now, down the gunpowder tree, he's got a lot of damage-dealing kind of opportunities here. Basic kind of stuff that increases damage. These earlier skills kind of get you used to the idea of skill points affecting your skills. He's got this maximally built out, so his melee damage is increased quite a bit, and his gun damage is 20%.
20% gun
That's
damage.
A pretty strong boost. Right out of the gate, you get a strong advantage just by building that out. This is neat for players that like to do kind of dynamic configurations. If you have you want to very quickly swap from like an elemental damage gun to a rocket launcher or sniper rifle, or if you want to go from like shotgun to SMG or something. So you have different weapons in different spots. Getting some expertise is good. The more expertise, the more skill points you put in expertise, the faster you'll be able to swap weapons. The faster you'll be able to aim that weapon. And aiming, of course, is this action.
Yes, down the sights.
That can be there's a number of different ways to build that speed up, and that can get really fast with this skill and with some of the other augmentations to that. And movement speed, look at that. There's actually a movement speed buff. You can run faster.
So sort of a quick strike warrior here with this commando.
Yeah. So he's only got 1 point in that, which gives him a little bit of help, but not too much. You want to, if you like to play co-op, you want to be careful unless you're kind of like a griefer, going too much with expertise if you play a lot of co-op, because you'll find that you're always outrunning all of your allies. Now, for some of you, you'll think that's a great thing. That means I'll get to the loot faster, and I can always be the first guy there. But when you leave friends behind, you can make them feel bad. So if you're a kind player, you'll want to match movement speed. Now, this is a neat what's called a kill skill. And a kill skills, notice how it's a hexagon icon?
Yes.
A kill skill will give you a buff every time it activates. And now there's a little tray that'll show up right above the experience bar there, and little icons that show these various buffs that you can get will appear above that experience bar. And that's new to Borderlands 2. And so if you get a kill, in this case with Metal Storm, your rate of fire will increase and recoil will go down. So you'll have less of an impact from weapons kind of rising as you're firing a lot of bullets, and as your rate of fire increases. And you can see it's a quite dramatic effect at maximum build there, plus 60% fire rate and 75% recoil reduction. So that's a really valuable kill skill if you are a precision shooter.
All right, let's check out the rest of them.
Yeah, sorry. If I go too deep, let me skip ahead. We'll just flash these. Also, I want to point out that in a moment we're going to also have a website where you can build out your own. You can do your own builds, configure your own builds for all the characters. I'll mention the longbow turret. This is a really neat, what we call a game changer. When you have a longbow, it actually allows that little object that creates a turret to be thrown at almost an infinite distance. And that's really neat. So to demonstrate that, normally the turret would only be constructed right in front of me here, but since there's a distant object there, let me point way in the distance, and I'll create it, and it'll longbow it, and it just makes the turret summon way out there.
Nice.
Notice how there's a giant nuclear explosion every time I bring it into existence. That's because of this skill. The final skill is nuke, and yes, it creates a nuclear blast. Does a tremendous amount of AOE damage. Very useful for crowd control. I love that. Lights people on fire. It's awesome. Some of the other skills here. This is just the catch-all. You are more awesomer when you have this. Mm-hmm. This is another game changer. You're down, you're in fight for life. Guess what? You can throw grenades. You can also get more benefit from explosive damage from rocket launchers. And
that'll
grenades.
save you a lot of time having to respawn that skill.
It will. And look at this. This is an interesting situation. This is this particular skill. It allows him to do more damage with his various weapons, but he's actually got a class mod. You can see the note at the bottom of that title card there. He's got a class mod, so let's go over to the inventory and we can look at that class mod that he's got equipped. And you can see that the flavor text there says it adds +3 to Battlefront. So this particular class mod is actually making one of his commando skills more effective. So even though he's only spent 2 points on it, that's why it's orange.
All the way up
He's
to 5.
getting up to 5, and he can continue to spend the 3 more points and actually take that skill up to 8. So he can go above the normal constraints of that skill by using the class mod augmentation. And there's some really clever builds that find rare class mods that boost certain skills up. You can have some really kind of cheater builds that are great for some specific circumstances, depending on which things. Now he didn't take steady. So he's probably more interested in expertise for the movement speed than for the recoil and the other adjustments. So that's interesting, and didn't take duty calls either. So he probably doesn't like the fact that the bonus only applies to non-elemental. We've got some other skill trees here.
Yeah, let's take a look at
Survival
the other two real quick.
is a lot of defense here, increasing shields and regeneration. Lots of things that are designed for survivability. This is a kill skill in the survival tree where if you get a kill, your shields very quickly regenerate.
That's handy.
So you can imagine being effective in combat improves your survivability. Sometimes there's boss fights where the boss is really powerful, but there's these little weaker ads kind of running around. So get those ads kind of low, and you can have them handy for if you're taking a lot of damage from the boss's special moves. get a kill skill on one of those little ads, and then you'll get that regeneration happening while the boss is doing his throughput on you, and you can kind of time your kill skills with that. I love the Phalanx Shield. This skill is really awesome. It actually creates a energy dome around the turret, like probably about 30 yards around the turret.
Wow, like a Halo bubble shield.
Yes, exactly. Multiple players can get inside, and it's very effective at mitigating damage. It's a really useful defensive game changer. And there's some protection against status effects. This helps you survive if you're in fight for your life by increasing the amount of damage you can do. Let's see here. This is awesome. This reduces the cooldown of my saber turret, so when it's fully built, you'll actually be able to use your turret much more. And when you think about the fact that you've augmented your turret likely with Phalanx Shield, you're going to be constantly having this really powerful defensive base that you can set up for you or your team if you get the Resourceful plus Phalanx Shield. I also like Maglock, which allows it to be kind of that shield can be applied in really creative ways. With Maglock, it will be attached to walls, attached to ceilings, and you don't necessarily have to be confined to placing that shield dome and the turret that goes with it in a place where might not be convenient for the players. Maybe if you get to level 50, you can actually build all the way to longbow and have magnet, and you can set the turret up anywhere, and you can imagine that combination. The bottom skill here allows me to actually set up 2 turrets at a time. This is exceptionally powerful. I've seen some hybrid builds that kind of go as light as possible just to get 2 turrets, but then focus on a gorilla after that for damage dealing. So they're kind of using the fact that survival can get you down to a 2-turret scenario, not for the option of having 2 shield domes, 2 phalanx shields, but for the option of giving more throughput from things like Scorched Earth. So now I'm over on the gorilla tree, and this is Scorched Earth. This adds rocket pods to the turret. There's a lot of throughput kind of stuff. Kill skill lets you do more damage, move faster. Imagine stacking this movement bonus, and there was this movement bonus all together. You're going to be fast. If you want to build like a hybrid tree where you don't go to the bottom of any of them, you can do some cool kind of combinations there.
You're just maximizing your area of effect in a sense.
Here. Yeah. You're making yourself really almost like a scout type soldier. So this is a neat one for more throughput. Grenades can be very, very powerful in Borderlands 2. If you played Borderlands 1, the grenades just barely scratch the surface. We've gone nuts. There's so many amazing grenade types. The grenades are as varied as the weapons are in Borderlands 2. So much interesting stuff you can do in a lot of throughput.
Would you say there are a bajillion grenades?
There's bajillion-y. It's bazillion-dier. And then this is neat because doubling up actually puts more weapons on the turret platform. So you're going to do a lot more damage throughput. It stacks with your rocket pod, so each gun on the turret will be firing rockets. Very effective tree.
Well, that is pretty cool.
Yeah,
that is the
good
commando.
walk through the commando. Do you want to look at some of the other characters?
Yeah, let's. We'll come right back with click the next video for that.